allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, for those who are new to the procedures of the ZBA, the meeting is divided into two halves. During the first half, we hold public hearings on each of the applications that are before us. And we take these in the order in which they appear on the agenda. If you'd like a copy of the agenda, it's available in that black tray there on the desk. For each of the public hearings, we'll ask the applicant to come forward and to be sworn in. All testimony before the ZBA has to be sworn testimony. At that point, we'll ask the applicant to give us a very brief description of what the application is all about. At that point, the members of the ZBA will have an opportunity to ask any questions that they have about the application, more information than is on the material that's submitted. When that's finished, the floor will be open to comments from any member of the public as long as it's on that application and that application only. And everyone that wants to speak also must be sworn in. Once we've heard from everyone on each of the applications, we then move into the second half of the meeting. In this half, the public hearing is closed, so there will be no further input from the public. But during this point, we'll take each of the applications and the board will discuss them and after the deliberation, have a vote. You're certainly welcome to stay and listen to the deliberations. If not, you can call the zoning department in the morning for the decision. Okay, this evening we've got the first three items are public hearings that were adjourned from the last meeting. So we'll begin with the first one, Henry Graham, 7 Dakin Road. Is not here. Okay, we'll go on to the next one and come back. Number 2, Edgar and Stephanie Lang, 15 North Jackson Road. Okay, good evening. Please come forward.
I'm a newbie.
Okay. Just have a seat.
Okay.
And just make sure you speak into the microphone, but just state your name for the record.
Edgar Lang.
Mr. Lang, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please be advised that you are under oath, and any false statements made by you are subject to perjury pursuant to the laws of the state of New York.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I understand what you weren't here last month.
No.
So we're actually
my son had a baby.
Oh.
So that took precedence, so I wasn't here.
Okay. Well,
And not my son. My son's wife.
we'll
Good catch.
I saw the look.
we won't hold that against you. Okay. So could you then just tell us in a few words what you're proposing to do?
Yeah. We want to put a 12-foot addition off the side of the house. In order to do that, we need a variance because approximately 7 feet of the addition will only leave 16 feet to the boundary instead of the 20 feet required. And there's a map in the back that actually shows where the impact is.
Okay.
This should be the second diagram. You'll see a
Yep.
circle on it for the variance.
Okay.
So it's not a big impact. Now, the people that live right next door where the addition are going on, the son is down in White Plains. I think you asked me this when you were over to the house. I did get a hold of the son. I mean, the parents are passed. Son owns the house. I got a hold of him, he had come up, and he was okay with it. The rest of the neighbors, they just were curious what I was doing.
Okay. Okay, Christine, any questions?
No questions.
Betty?
I have no questions.
All right,
No questions.
okay. I guess my only question is, I assume the addition is going to be sided and framed and designed so that it matches the rest of the
It'll
house.
perfectly match the house, and we're extending the roof line, so it'll be a good fit.
Okay. Paul?
No questions.
Tony?
No questions.
No questions.
Phyllis? Oh, well, you're, yeah, okay. Okay. Okay, if there are no further questions from members of the board, anyone in the audience that wishes to address the application at 15 North Jackson Road? All right, seeing none, is there a motion to close the public?
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Recusals? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do I wait till part one's over, or do I?
Oh, you don't want to miss this.
I'll call you.
Yeah.
Smart man.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, item number 3 is Marist College, the steel plant studio at 3399 North Road. For this issue, Mr. Leahy is recusing himself. So Phyllis, you'll be a voting member on this application. Okay.
Good evening.
Your name, please?
My name is John Andrews. I'm with the engineering firm of Rohde, Soika, and Andrews Consulting Engineers located in Poughkeepsie, New York. We represent Marist College in this matter.
Mr. Andrews, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, yes, ma'am.
Please be advised that you are under oath, and any false statements made by you are subject to perjury pursuant to the laws of the state of New York.
Okay, now, my understanding, and you can correct me, is that you made a presentation at last month's session, which I unfortunately missed, but that the reason that the board couldn't act was that the environmental approvals had not been acted on by the planning board.
That is correct, sir.
Okay.
The planning board had circulated for lead agency, and they had not yet made a determination. They did hold a special meeting for us on July 6th, at which time they did issue a negative declaration in the matter. They also granted us conditional site development plan approval, and because of where this particular parcel is sited, they also granted a coastal consistency statement. We're not in the waterfront district, but when they did the waterfront planning, for some reason, they jumped the road and included this end of Beck Place. It's in a unique situation. But anyway, they took that action. I submitted to your secretary a copy of the decision letter from the planning board that was issued on July 7th, so you now have that in your record. Just to recap, since you weren't here, and let's see, the last time I was here, nothing worked.
Wait a minute, something worked.
Just,
It now works. Thank you. What Marist College is proposing, I think you're all familiar with the existing steel plant studios. It's on the right hand of 9 as you head north. It's the old Poughkeepsie steel plant. The way the existing building is situated, the actual right-of-way line for Route 9 is actually our rear wall. When they redid Route 9, they actually rebuilt our rear wall. So the existing building has 0. We are proposing an addition on the south, the east, and slightly on the north. To expand that building to almost 40,000 square feet to allow us to bring the fashion out of Donnelly Hall and over here. We are also, as part of this, consolidating 4 individual lots into 1. The reason being is the town, as you may, or the Marist, as you may recall, acquired the Beck Place right-of-way a number of years ago from the town. So there's a parcel there. We have the old Chem Cards parcel. We have the Poughkeepsie Steel parcel, and then there's a little orphan parcel up the top. We're putting them all together. Your zoning administrator made a determination that we actually have 2 front yards because we have frontage on Beck Place up here, and we have this entire frontage, almost the entire west and south sides along the New York State DOT right-of-way. So she made the determination. We therefore need a variance at this corner for the addition, and we need a variance at this corner for the addition, both of which are front yard variances. The last time we were here, this was 9.6. The architects have changed the building on me. It is now 6 foot 0 inches. This one used to be 18, it is now 15 foot 0 inches. Reason being is they added some overhangs and some architectural features to dress up the building. That was included in the site plan that received approval from the planning board. And other than that, everything else is in compliance once the parcels are consolidated, which is a condition of our approval.
Okay. Are the changes substantial?
I don't think so. I'm sorry to steal your, and we did discuss them during the last public hearing because there was an awareness that that might happen. So I think we're okay on this front.
Okay. All right, thank you. Christine, any questions?
No questions.
Betty?
I have no questions.
Art?
Good, no questions.
Okay, I was out there the other day and walked the site with the plan and I mean, I think given the locations, these variances make sense, so I have no questions. Paul? No, I'm sorry, Tony.
No questions.
Carmen?
No questions.
Phyllis?
The last time you were here, we talked about
Can
whether
you
or not
just swing?
the building would make like a stockade impact along Route 9 there where the steel plant building is, and you had indicated that there weren't really going to be any changes to that part. Is that still the same with the architectural differences that you're talking about now?
I apologize, I didn't bring the architectural, but there is in the planning department, if you wish, renderings that will show it. This facade of the building stays the same. There is an exterior courtyard here that's going to have a low 22-inch high retaining wall, and on top of it, I think you've all seen the Maris standard aluminum fence that runs both sides of 9. That fence will now sit on top of this wall, and there are a series of landscape features here that screen the transformer. There's some low evergreen trees. But other than that, there is nothing that kind of gives it a stockade look. In fact, this is a featured end of the building. So as you drive up 9, you will see very nice architecture, and it's wide open. So it's intended to dress up this whole side of the building.
And the fence that sits on top of the 22-inch stone wall, how high is that fence?
It's, they haven't given me a final decision yet, so I don't know whether it will be typically Maris fence are 6 foot tall, but it's already going to be elevated 22 inches, so I don't know if it'll be that height on top of the wall, making it 8 foot. It will probably stay down around the 6 foot range, but I'm not, again, that's a detail the architects haven't given me yet.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any further questions from the board? If not, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address the Marist College application at the steel plant studio? Seeing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? One recusal.
Thank you very much. Have
Okay.
a good evening,
Thank you.
and I will talk to you.
All right, let's see,
Mr. Graham is here.
okay, so let's go back to item number 1. Henry Graham, 7 Dakin Road. Okay, if you'd come forward, please.
He's not here.
No?
I thought he was here.
Oop, okay, well, we will come back later. Item number 4, Robert and Nancy Cornell, 17 Scenic Drive. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Robert Cornell.
Mr. Cornell, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please be advised that you are under oath, and any false statements made by you are subject to perjury pursuant to laws of the state of New York.
Okay, so briefly, why are you
I'm
needing a
here,
variance?
I'm applying for a variance on a deck on the back of my house, an existing deck that's been there 30, 35-plus years. I recently sold the house and have been told by the town that I don't have enough feet between the boundaries of the neighbor's house. So I need that variance in order for me to get the CO in order to sell the house.
Okay. And just to be sure, we're talking about the deck that's there right now.
Yeah, I didn't put the deck on. I've been in the house for 23 years, and the people before me were there about 10 years, so it's been there probably 33 to 35 years that I know of. And I haven't changed it or changed the footprint or the blueprint of it at all. It's been there.
Okay. Christine?
No questions.
Betty?
I have no question.
Art?
No question.
I noticed there's several large mature trees that kind of sit between the
There
deck
are.
and your neighbor's house.
There are.
Those are permanent?
I'm out of here September 1st. I'm not touching them.
Okay.
Yeah, they're staying.
Okay.
I'm not taking them with me.
Okay. Paul?
No question.
Tony?
No questions.
Carmen?
No questions.
Okay. Anyone in the audience wish to address the application at 17 Scenic Drive? All right, seeing no one, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No recusals? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Item number 5, Noel and Marion Harris, 15 Stewart Drive.
Good afternoon.
Good evening.
Yeah, I'm Noel Harris.
Mr. Harris, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please be advised that you are under oath, and any false statements made by you are subject to perjury pursuant to the laws of the state of New York.
Okay.
Okay, so what are you proposing to do?
Okay, I live in a house which was built somewhere around 1966, I think. And the deck, there's a deck to the side of the house. And I think it's at the end of its useful life, and I'm trying to replace the deck. But it's closer to my neighbor's house than the 20-foot required, so I need a variance to construct the deck.
Okay. Christine, any questions?
No, the deck is in the exact same place, the one that you're replacing.
Yes, the existing deck is 17 foot by about 10 and a half, 10 foot 6 inches, and the new deck is going to be 17 foot by 12 foot.
Okay.
But it's in the same place.
I have no question.
Wait, let's see. Yeah, Art?
Sorry.
No questions.
Wait, let me go over those numbers again.
Smaller, right?
Let's see, you're looking for a variance so that you can have a setback of 10 feet 2 inches?
Correct.
Okay, where 20 feet is required.
Yes.
Okay, all right. And I believe the existing deck is a little bit further away. So the new deck will be a little bit closer.
Correct.
Yeah, I think it's by a matter of
One is 11 foot 8 inches.
6 inches or something like that.
Yeah, a little bit bigger.
Okay. All right, I just wanted to make sure that the numbers here are correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Paul?
Nope, no question.
Tony?
No questions.
Carmen?
No questions.
Okay. Okay, anyone from the audience wish to address the application at 15 Stewart Drive? All right, in that case, is there a motion to close the public
So
hearing?
moved.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, recusals? Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Item number 6, Ron and Sarah Foster, 177 Fulton Street. Oh, okay.
Good evening.
Hi.
Hi. I'm Sarah Foster.
Ms. Foster, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please be advised that you are under oath, and any false statements made by you are subject to perjury pursuant to the laws of the state of New York.
Okay. We are in the process of creating space for my 89-year-old mom. We have an existing room, and we'd like to convert that to an accessory apartment for her, which would include a bathroom, and that's the only thing that's not in there.
So you're going to have to add the bathroom?
We're going to have to add the bathroom, so that's the permission we are asking for.
Okay. Are there going to be kitchen facilities?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Christine?
No questions.
Okay. Betty?
Are you taking the part that was a garage and making that the living area?
It was a garage many years ago. It is already an existing room.
Okay, so
With a CO that we did, so we converted it to a room many years ago, and now we're going to make it into a living space for her.
it looked like a likely spot.
Yeah.
When we were there.
So no building up or out.
Okay. I have no other questions.
Okay. Art?
No questions.
Okay. You filled out this kind of checklist of all of the requirements. The square footage. A couple of things there was one thing that was left blank. How will the apartment be identified for emergency services? Often what people do is just, put up a sign that would say, in this case, 177A or something
Okay.
like that.
I'm agreed to that. That's
Okay.
fine. We'll make it
Okay.
177A.
And let me see, I thought there was, you actually addressed this, I believe, in the statement, but how many parking spaces are there on the lot? I realize this may be irrelevant to.
Yeah. No, she doesn't drive, but we have plenty of parking. I have a picture of the driveway. So there's a U as well as the driveway. We can fit, if we really wanted to, probably 4 or 5 cars.
Yeah.
And
okay.
there's 2 of us that have cars now, my husband
Okay.
and myself.
So there are, at least 4?
I'd say at least 5. When we have a family function.
Okay,
we can-
all right. So I'll just amend this to say at least 5. Okay, all right. The code requires us to have answers to each one of those. That's why I'm being picky about this.
I don't
Okay.
do often.
All right. Paul, any questions?
No questions.
Tony?
No questions.
Okay, and Carmen has no questions. Okay.
Excuse me, ladies.
Okay, anyone from the audience wish to address the application at 177 Fulton Street? If not, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No recusals? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Item number 7, Greystone Programs Incorporated, 36 Violet Avenue.
It's good age, say, I know the age of the thing, yeah.
Jim,
Yeah.
stop the conversation down there, please.
Oh, okay. Okay, please state your name.
Good evening, I'm Rich Tompkins, Maury Architects. I'm representing Greystone Programs,
Yeah.
Inc.
Mr. Tompkins, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
This thing.
I do.
Please be advised that you are under oath, and any false statements made by you are subject to perjury pursuant to the laws of the state of New York.
Okay, so if you'd just give us a brief description of what you're proposing.
Sure. This is the former offices of Greystone Programs, Inc. It's 36 Violet Avenue. The plan that you have in front of you is actually showing 2 parcels. It's 36 and 42. There is still offices in 42. The reason for showing both parcels on this is there is shared ingress and egress from the site as well as parking. Our proposal is to convert the existing house on 36 has a basement, a first floor, and a small portion of a second floor. Our proposal is to convert the basement and the first floor to apartments. There'll be 6 apartments total. The small second floor office space will remain office space for their maintenance staff. There is another building on 36 that is at the rear of the building, of the main building that you see from Violet Avenue. That is going to be their maintenance building, which it has been, so that's going to continue to remain. As far as the exterior of the building and the site, there really aren't any changes that we're proposing. They're very minor. In the front of the building, we have some sidewalk changes to make the existing entrance that's there handicap accessible for one of the apartments, and to make another door in the front of the building for an accessible entrance. The other change to the site is on the north side of the building to create a handicap accessible entrance for the basement. And we did remove one parking space, again, to create an additional handicap parking space for that lower level apartment. So as far as the exterior, that's really the bulk of the changes are really just minor, and they pertain to the handicap accessibility of the apartments.
Okay. Could you, just very briefly, not everybody's familiar with Greystone, what that organization does, and then tell us a little bit about who these apartments are intended for?
Sure. So, short side of that, they do provide services for people with physical and mental handicaps, and there are different levels of services that they provide. So, as they start to gain more independence from some of their more higher monitored residences, they will be placed into an apartment where the care and supervision is limited to maybe just a few hours a day, where someone might come and visit them to make sure that they're cleaning the apartment and cooking and things like that. But it is a more independent living for apartment. To get them out into the public as an apartment type living. So that's what this apartment is really set up for. They're all one-bedroom apartments, so it's just single individuals. It's not going to be families and things like that. And that's really the desire here, is to just create that space for people moving from their other programs.
Okay. Would the typical resident have a car?
More than likely, no. It would be probably a really rare occasion that I'm aware of that they would be functioning enough to have a car and a driver's license, but typically they would not be driving.
Okay. And would there be anybody on site 24 hours a day, or no?
No. Again, as far as from what I've been told, it would be a few hours a day. Someone would come and visit, whether it be a nurse or whether it would be somewhat of a social worker, to see how they're doing.
Make sure everything's okay.
Make sure everything's okay, and make sure that they're cooking meals for themselves, and doing the shopping and doing laundry and things like that. So that they're basically just an oversight to make sure that they are still functioning enough to be in that facility.
Okay.
I do have a question.
Christine?
Okay, after her.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's okay. No, you answered my question. I was going to ask about the number of bedrooms. Thank you.
Yeah.
When we were there, obviously the building itself is unoccupied, but there were a lot of cars in the parking lot. Who are all the people that are parking there?
I couldn't explain that. I don't know. I don't know if they had some function for the office next door. I'm not quite sure. I do know that some of the maintenance staff members do park there. There is occasion where they leave a truck or something there, and they drive their personal car and then pick up a truck. I believe I have personally seen that, but I couldn't tell you for sure what the cars were there on that given day.
Because we wondered if anyone, answered the question about cars, but I don't think there was but one or two parking places available when we went there.
I could try to get that answer to find out if I know what day you went. I could try to find out if there was something going on that particular day. What, last Wednesday? Yeah. I could find out. I don't know personally.
Well, we were there on Sunday, and there were still cars there. So
Still there on Sunday?
It was a big event.
I really don't know. I couldn't answer that. Sorry.
Okay. The maintenance office itself, is that functioning right now as a maintenance?
Yeah.
There were a couple of trucks there.
Yeah.
Correct, yeah. Again, the building in the back, there's the maintenance garage. So there may be somebody in there doing work, but there is the small second floor office space. There is a maintenance staff in there now. Because it was their office. They moved out of the basement and first floor. So they kept the maintenance staff at the second floor office.
Okay, that's all I have.
Okay, Art?
Are these long-term people, are they there like for years, or is this something they just, for a few months maybe, and get established and able to take care of themselves and move on?
As far as I know, that would be a permanent
Just a
residence for them.
permanent,
It's
okay.
not something that they then go and move
To a different-
on beyond that. As far as I know,
right,
it would be more of a permanent
Thank you.
apartment.
Okay, Paul?
No questions.
Tony?
No questions.
Carmen?
How many group homes does Greystone have now?
Again, I apologize, I couldn't
You
answer
don't
that
know
question.
I knew there was one in Hyde Park.
They have them all over Dutchess County.
Right,
I
I
couldn't
know.
give you a definite count on the
Oh,
number
okay.
right now.
And all the meals are going to be provided in this apartment building?
The meals being provided?
Yeah.
Again, I can't really speak for the individuals. I know in past projects for other agencies, they do a combination of both. Some do provide meals, but again, the goal is that they're moving them into the apartments to be more independent, where they're cooking their own meals. So in this particular facility, I can't say for sure if the meals are going to be provided. My guess is because we're providing kitchens in all of them, that again, they're going to be training them to do their own cooking. That's part of that supervision. That may be part of the day where they show up at 5 o'clock to help them cook the meal, to help them, show how to get that independence. So my guess is that they're going to be making their own meals on site.
Really? Okay. Thank you.
Okay, the specific variance that you're seeking is essentially a density variance. You're going to have 6 dwelling units on a roughly 21,000 square foot, which comes out to 3,450 square feet per dwelling unit, and the code calls for almost twice that. So I wonder if you could address specifically why this particular proposal is going to work with the variance. Why you only need a much smaller area per unit.
Well, again, I think because it's an existing site and there is parking for both 36 and 42, we are obviously limited on space. We don't have other property that we can purchase. Part of the advantage for Greystone of having the 6 apartments in one building is it's a little bit easier to supervise 6 in one space, and rather than maybe 4 in this building and 2 in another, or 3 and 3. So the supervision of the individuals in the apartment, having the number of units here is really an advantage to Greystone and the program. The other thing that we kind of looked at as part of that square footage per dwelling unit is the rec space, and with the rail trail being somewhat walking distance, we felt that these individuals are not going to have a picnic outside and things like that. Again, they would be part of Greystone's programs, where if they have a picnic, they're going to go to another facility to have that picnic. So the need for additional grounds and space on this particular site is really not needed.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Okay, if not, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address the application of Greystone programs, 36 Violet Avenue?
Excuse me, Jim. Did you want to address the fact that if Greystone was no longer going to be using that?
Yeah. I was going to say.
Not revert back.
Right. There's been a suggestion that in this case we might add a condition to the variance that simply says that if Greystone is no longer using this as apartment space for its clients, that the variance would lapse. And so that, for example, if you sold this to, a private individual, before they could just rent out all 6 apartments, they would have to come back to the ZBA. In other words, what we're saying is that your request makes certain sense. it might not make sense if this were now, 6 apartments in a small building on a small lot.
Okay, so at that time, whoever the buyer is would have to come back and
Exactly.
try to get a variance or convert it to 3 apartments is what you're
Right,
saying.
as long as Greystone is operating this, everything's fine.
Okay, I could talk to them about that, sure.
Okay, all right. We often put conditions of this sort on non-conforming uses, just to make sure that somewhere down the line. Okay. All right, any other questions or comments? Anyone from the audience? If not, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recusals? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item number 8, Neville McDonald, 12 Pearl Bush Lane. Okay. Okay, good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
If you'd each just state your names.
I'm John Sullivan with Gillespie and Stacosa. This is the applicant, Neville McDonald. Neville McDonald.
Mr. McDonald, Mr. Sullivan, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. I do.
Please be advised that you are under oath, and any false statements made by you are subject to perjury pursuant to the laws of the state of New York.
Okay, so what are you proposing?
We're here this evening for, we're proposing a addition to an existing single-family residence. It's a garage addition. The property located in the R20 zone, and the property is located at 12 Pearl Bush Avenue. The applicant would like to construct a one-story garage, and we're looking for relief from the rear yard setback. The property is located in an R20 zone. This rear yard setback requirement is 30 feet, and we're proposing 12'4", I'm sorry. The one thing I'd like to point out is this proposal does not increase any nonconformity. The existing building is actually 11'2" at its closest point to the rear, so seems pretty reasonable request that we're asking from the board, so.
Okay.
To my knowledge, majority of the properties in this zone, or a lot of them are non-conforming, so.
Okay. Christine?
No questions.
Okay, Betty?
I have no questions.
Okay, Art?
No question. Well, you're no closer than what you are now, though. Right?
Or further. The existing, at its closest point, is 11'2", and the new garage will be 12'4". So essentially, the existing residence is not parallel with the rear property.
It's okay.
It's slightly.
Skewed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little kitty.
Well, good, thank you.
Okay, I'm assuming the addition will match the rest of the house in terms
Absolutely.
of siding, color,
Yes.
and so on, yeah. Is this gonna be used as an additional garage, or is there something else?
It's just a garage.
The expansion, it's a one-car garage as of now. We're proposing a two-car garage.
With a garage door and the
Yes.
Overhead door, yes.
whole, okay, all right. Paul?
My agenda says that it's a side yard.
That was the determination by the zoning administrator.
Yeah, this is a corner
because it's-
lot, so there are 2 front yards. So I don't know, then everything is either a side yard or a rear yard, I don't know which, but,
I specifically asked Sarah about this, and she determined that this is a side yard, so 20 feet is required.
Okay. What are you going to do about the grading on the?
This site is relatively flat. The driveway, it's just more or less a connection to expanding the driveway to where the garage ends. So the grading is kind of insignificant.
Okay. And what will the width of the driveway be?
We're increasing the garage by 12 feet, so the driveway now, it actually goes beyond the line of the existing side, so we're expanding it like, another 8 feet at the most.
Yeah, so what do you think the width of the driveway would be?
Total? Probably 25 feet or so.
Okay. There's a limit on widths on driveways, isn't there?
I thought it was 15.
I thought it was 15.
Is it 50?
15. Driveway width is 15 feet, right?
15.
But this is, let's see, for a two-car garage? Okay.
I didn't see anything in the zoning when I did an analysis with regard to a maximum driveway width.
Yeah, you should probably check that.
Well, if there's two-car garage, 15 feet wouldn't work. It's,
yeah, but the building department will be able to tell you.
so that's not part of the zoning ordinance.
No, the only thing that's in front of us is that
Okay.
side yard, and the, when you turn in the plans to get the building permit, at that point, they may ask about the width of the driveway.
Okay.
So
Fair enough.
be prepared. Yeah. Okay, Tony?
No questions.
So it's the width of the drive? What is the problem there? And how is it remedied? I mean, he needs a driveway for the extra garage.
Well, first of all, I don't have the code in front of me, so I don't know exactly what the ordinance is and how it's stated. But the existing driveway is pretty wide. And so the amount that it would be extended or perhaps reconfigured is going to depend on just how the applicant wants to do it, and getting the building department to okay it.
Okay.
But again, let me just say the issue before us is the garage, not the driveway. So
Okay.
we can't act on it anyway.
Right.
So.
Okay.
Okay, so if there are any further questions from the board, anyone in the audience wish to address the application at 12 Pearl Bush Lane? If not, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Okay.
Item number 9.
Jim, I think the Grahams are here. Okay, never mind.
Okay. Item 9, Oakwood Partners, Oakwood Commons, South Road.
No, right. Oh, yeah. I haven't seen him a long time.
Good evening.
Good
Mr.
evening.
Chairman, David Kaminsky representing Oakwood Partners.
Hey.
Mr. Kaminsky, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please be advised that you are under oath, and any false statements made by you are subject to perjury pursuant to the laws of the state of New York.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Good evening.
go ahead.
I'm here this evening representing Oakwood Partners LLC and the Oakwood Commons Business Park. We, several months ago, executed a contract with the Bryad Group of Livingston, New Jersey to construct a new Hilton Homewood Suites hotel. I want to provide some background as to the steps we have taken. We have completed the process with the planning board, and we have a revised site plan approval and a revised architectural review approval. A little history, many of you on this board will recall I believe what were 6 successive zoning board meetings back in 2008, where it took 38, the approval of 38 variances to make the Oakwood Commons Business Park happen. There was no business park designation in the town code at that time, in the zoning code. It was subsequent to our approval and the construction of the project that we worked with the town to actually create the business park district which exists now. We were approved in 2008, and then we came back and we were reapproved in 2010 under the new business park designation. At neither time was there a requirement that signage had to be below the second story. In fact, this board, approved 4 different variances. Of the 38 variances, 4 of them were for the hotel. 1 was a setback variance, and the other 3 were for signage. The project, as redesigned now, it's a little bit different than what the Hilton Garden Inn is, only in that the shape of the building of the Hilton was set back further and was an L shape in this way. The new hotel has a wing that comes out of the rear into this area here. So what you're looking at in this picture here is this is Thomas Watson Drive that feeds back into the IBM campus. I'm going to put this down for a second. I'm not sure if this is clear enough for everyone, and I could bring it closer, but this shows the entire Oakwood Commons project, and you can see the 2 access ways that we have from Route 9 that get into the parcel, and you see in this area here where the hotel is going to be constructed. The request before you is to approve a single variance, not on the size of the sign, but the height of where it's located on the building. The sign itself meets the code. It's well under 100 square feet in size, and it is shown here. It's a single sign that goes at the top of the building. I have the architecturals that I'll show you, and it has the Homewood Suites logo on the top of the sign. From an architectural standpoint, rather than multiple signs like which were approved by this board for the Hilton Garden Inn, there were 4 different signs were going to be on that building. There's only a single sign on this building, and it's located at the top of the structure area here on the front of the building. And again, the front of the building faces north, the Marriott Hotel and Thomas Watson Drive. It's behind the 2 office buildings, behind the Red Robin, behind the CVS, behind Spack and Kilpazza. And so basically, there's no visibility of this sign from Route 9, no practical visibility of the sign. There is an awning area that sticks out when cars pull into this portico area here that would actually block the sign if we were to put it, down below the second-story windows. Thus, our request for you to work with us respectfully to approve a variance to locate the sign at the top of the building. I would also point out that the board has recently approved, since the change in the zoning regarding the signage for Caremount Medical, when they changed their name, the building is the signs at the top of the building. We have a Key Bank sign at the top of our building that's much higher than this. And of course, the Marriott has signs that are higher also. Mr. Chairman?
Okay, thank you. Christine, any questions?
No questions.
Betty?
Is there going to be a sign out on 9 somewhere?
Yes, there will be a pylon sign of equal height of the whole superstructure of the sign will be identical to the Marriott. It's just the Homewood Suite sign itself will be a 50 square foot sign that matches the exact size of the Marriott. That was approved by the planning board as of right.
And then I'm assuming a few location or directional signs when you get in.
So this is the main driveway off of Thomas Watson Drive. Just before you get to the IBM gate, you would make a left-hand turn to come into the hotel here. And yes, ma'am, we will install a small monument sign at this location also.
Mm-hmm.
I have no more questions.
Okay, Art?
Mr. Kaminsky, will both of those signs be backlit or all backlit now, right? LED or?
They're all backlit, yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. And, no, Paul?
Do you have a rendering that shows actually what you'll be looking at with all the other buildings, rather than just this drawing?
No, we've not had to do that. We've not made a rendering with all the buildings.
Can you give me some idea about the elevation between the roadway and the pavement? What we're going to see?
Well, first of all, the two buildings in front, both the Caremount building and the first office building one that was built on the site are 5-story buildings. This is only a 4-story building. So the two front buildings will completely hide this building.
Okay.
There probably is a spot driving southbound on Route 9. If you turned out of Post Road Plaza and you started coming down the hill, you might see the top of the building for a couple of seconds as you're driving down Route 9. Otherwise, there is no visibility of it.
Okay, thank you.
Tony?
No questions.
Carmen? Yes, there's only going to be one sign?
One sign on the whole building.
On the whole building. Oh, I like that. That's very good. So people coming in will, it's the pylon sign and then directional signs, get them in.
Correct. We know that works from having built the Marriott. I was the original developer of that project for many of you that were not on the board at that time. So when we developed the Marriott Residence Inn and Spack and Kill Plaza, there was concern about getting people back into there, but there's been no issue with it whatsoever.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, if there are no further questions from the board, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address the Oakwood Partners application at Oakwood Commons? Seeing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Recusals? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, let's see. Is Henry Graham here? Okay, this is 7 Dakin Road. Okay, so if you just state your name for the record.
Hello, my name is Henry Graham.
Mr. Graham, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Please be advised that you are under oath, and any false statements made by you are subject to perjury pursuant to the laws of the state of New York.
Yes.
Okay, so unfortunately, I wasn't here last week. So what was the reason that this was adjourned?
I have a whole lot of questions. First of all, did we close a public hearing and we didn't? Okay.
Just adjourned.
All right, we
Yeah,
just
okay,
adjourned it,
fine.
okay. One of the reasons was it was questionable as to exactly where the applicant measured the 10-foot from the new deck, because the back of his rear lot was kind of pie-shaped, and the further to the right you went, the variance actually got bigger. So we weren't sure, because you testified that you measured it yourself.
Yes, yes, I did.
Right, and the other thing, the other question was, we wanted to get planning board records regarding if they told him that he needed a variance. That was a question, right?
I don't. Right, there was supposed to be some information from the building department.
Right.
Supposed to provide.
Right. And, what else was it? So the biggest question, obviously, was we didn't know whether the variance was 10 foot or if it was more.
Right, right. And you guys also wanted to have the plans of eventually the outdoor kitchen.
Right.
Which I submitted.
I don't have that.
Please.
Okay, and is there, Did you turn in new material since the last meeting?
Yes, I did.
You did?
Yeah, did you get this?
These, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, all right,
That's the plans for the kitchen.
okay.
Right, so there was a question about what the purpose of the deck was, and he explained that it was, he wanted to make an outdoor kitchen. So we needed, or we requested some idea of what that was all about to determine what the impact would be. In addition to the questions about what the real measurements were and what he had submitted to the planning board.
Did you guys
building department.
receive the footings and everything?
There's this diagram here, it looks like a
Yes.
graph paper.
Yes, it is.
Okay, is that what you submitted to the building department?
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay. And there was some question about when that happened and when you were denied and when your
Right.
building actually occurred.
Exactly.
But I seem to recall that you indicated on your map that the measurements that had been submitted to the building department also?
I'm not understanding.
We had a question about how you came up with the
Yeah.
measurement for how close it was to the,
And I said, I did the measurement.
Right.
And I was saying that the building department, she just drew an arrow from the deck saying it would be 10 foot. And I was explaining to her, it's 12 feet from the post. And that's from the deck. And it was further over. That's what I explained to her. You understand?
no, I don't know who you mean by she.
I don't know the young lady name who was working in the building department. But do you see the arrow on option number? You see the arrow there, right? And you see where it says 10 feet.
Right.
Okay. What I was explaining before, the post is a post up under. If you look at the diagram, there's a post up under, which is up under the deck, which is 12 feet to the property line.
Okay.
That arrow is coming from the deck, the corner of the deck itself.
So the corner of the deck and not where it's marked on the map, on the
Right,
diagram.
exactly.
So.
Because my property go in a pie, is in a pie shape.
Exactly. So what we should really do is move that arrow that says 10 feet. We should move it over so that it goes from the corner of the
Right.
new deck
That's what, that,
to the property line.
exactly.
And that distance, you say, is 10 feet?
Yes.
But there's a post underneath it that's 12 feet.
The post.
Okay.
The post
But the
is.
deck is going to overhang.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. All right. So, all right. So if we change that, then, okay. So the construction of the deck to be located 10 feet, actually to the nearest property line, I guess, where 30 feet is required.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. That.
And that's the only point that it gets close to my neighbor Gidio, Guerrero. That's the only point that it gets close, because my property goes in a pie shape, so it gets further as it go back.
Yep. We're only worried about the closest point.
Yes,
Okay.
okay.
Now I think we understand each other.
Yeah, okay, great.
Okay. Okay. So Christine.
So is the corner of the existing deck 30 feet now?
Oh, yes. Yes, it is.
When you say existing deck, you made the deck that he built after
Well, I see
the denial.
existing deck and then I see new deck.
There's an existing deck that was there that,
Or the deck.
or older deck that I have a permit for that was built years ago. I just extended this deck because this new deck has different footings. The older deck was too small to do what I want to do. So that's why I extended it, and that's why it's closer to the property line.
Okay.
Okay?
I have no question.
Art?
Do we have to take the stairs into consideration?
No.
How wide are they? We don't know how wide they are. Do you know how wide your steps are gonna be, coming up the back of the deck?
Those steps are not even there. Those steps are not even there. I didn't even put those steps there, so I wouldn't have a problem at all. they're not even there.
Okay.
Okay. Paul?
So tell me a little bit about the outdoor kitchen.
Okay.
Is this a pizza oven on the side there?
Yes, it is. Yes, it
Okay.
is.
All right. And a gas grill?
Yes.
You have a sink, and then what's to the right of the gas grill?
A burner.
Just a burner?
Yes.
Okay. Are all of them gas fired?
Yes.
Okay. And
Gas, when you say gas, you mean propane, correct?
well, I
Yeah,
mean,
gas,
I don't know
propane.
whether it's natural or
Yeah, it's propane.
Okay.
Propane.
And it's going to go you would like to put it in the corner of the new deck.
Yes.
Space is there between whatever the bar area would be, where the shelves are?
Yes.
Where the chairs are,
Yes.
to the end of the deck.
Approximately 14 feet.
All right, in this, there's a diagram that shows looking at the kitchen area in the far corner.
Yes.
It shows some stairways to the right.
Yes.
You say those stairs are not there?
No.
Are those
Which
stairs
stairs
there?
are you talking about? The stairs that's coming from the front of the deck?
The rear.
Or the side of the deck? The rear of the deck? Those stairs are not even there. No. I didn't build those stairs there. I took
So
'em
this
off.
diagram that you supplied,
Yes.
okay, that shows stairways to the back
Yes.
line, that's not correct.
Right, no, it's not. That one in this one right here, no, not that one, no. That one is incorrect, because there's no stairs there. It's just flat, right across there.
Okay. And you say it's 14 feet?
Yes, it's possible.
Can you tell me, what's the size of the new part of the deck?
It's 12 by 30.
Okay, and what's, the old deck was how much?
12 by 30.
So you just doubled it?
I just doubled it, yes.
Do you recall how much of a variance you needed for the old deck?
No, I don't recall.
Okay.
The old deck, I didn't need a variance, I don't believe, but I can find out in the building department, but I don't think I had a variance for the old deck.
I'm sorry, I thought you said you did get a variance for the old deck.
No, I didn't. I don't think I got a variance for the older deck.
Okay. All right, those are all the questions I have right now.
Okay. Tony?
I have no questions.
Carmen?
No question.
Okay. All right, any other questions from the board? Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address the application at 7 Dakin Road?
Oh, let me ask you a question, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Based on the confusion for those stairs in the back end of the deck, he shows them, but then he says he's not gonna build them. Would you be adverse if we, I mean, I don't know if it would matter or not, but if we told you cannot put steps there?
No, it's okay.
Make that part of
If I
it?
can put steps there,
Can we do that?
it's no steps. I'm not even gonna put steps there anyway, so it's no problem.
I mean, yeah, I mean, we can add
Okay, that's just.
conditions. Just clarify my own understanding. I believe that when we're doing these decks, we don't include the steps as part of.
Not normally that close to the property line, I don't believe. I don't
Yeah,
think.
I mean, we've had a couple where the side yards were closed and there was a deck or a porch. And I believe in those cases, the extension out for the stairs was exempt. Is that your recollection?
I thought that stairs were typically not counted, but I'm not positive, and that would really be a Sarah question more than a
Okay,
this board question.
okay.
Unless
But-
there's a provision in the code which says you don't count them.
But we can add that as a condition if people think that's needed. And you say it's not gonna matter to you?
It's not gonna matter, no.
Okay. Okay. All right, any other questions? I would just note for the record, you have a notarized statement from your neighbor saying that he's fine with this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
You're gonna invite him over for some meals?
Of course I am, of course I am, definitely.
Okay. Good. That was, all right. If there are no other questions or motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recusal? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, this brings us to the end of the agenda. We'll now begin the deliberation phase. Does anybody want a short recess, or we plunge ahead? Okay. All right. So, going back to the top of the agenda, Henry Graham, 7 Dakin Road, is a variance to allow the construction of a deck to be located 10 feet from the rear property line where 30 feet is required. This is a type 2 action, so there's no environmental actions that we need to take. The county has actually said that they have no comments on anything on tonight's agenda, so.
Really?
Yeah, we're being good.
Must have new people, huh?
Okay, discussion, on item number 1. This is what I'm looking for, okay. Okay, any questions, comments? Are we okay with this?
Well, this doubles the size of his existing deck, which
Sounds like a foghorn.
that's me.
I have no idea what that sound is.
And I think it looks from the diagram, it looks like the old deck encroached upon the rear lot anyway. But this is only 12 feet wide. The doubling of the deck, the applicant indicated was to make this outdoor kitchen, which is almost 12 by 14, which I think will have a significant impact on the environment. I think it completely changes the nature of the neighborhood. And I suppose without regard to the history of the permits and the stop work order and the continuing work order, I would be voting against any application to do this. The applicant indicated in his first testimony last month that he'd be willing to take the deck down. I think in light of the fact that there was a stop work order which continued, I don't think that's unreasonable. And for the purpose that the applicant has described, I think it well exceeds the impact on the environment, well exceeds the benefit to the applicant.
Okay, anyone else?
I agree with Jim.
I just want to ask Paul something.
Or Paul, I mean, not Jim.
What is the impact, the negative impact of the size of the kitchen and the deck?
Well,
Tell me about it, Paul. Okay.
You've seen the diagram, right? It's almost half the size of the deck for an outdoor kitchen. We've seen other projects with outdoor kitchens that don't seem to have as big an impact as this. I'm somewhat confused why you don't think that an outdoor kitchen, probably bigger than your kitchen, would have any impact on the environment.
In what way does it have an impact on
The cooking part, the entertaining part, all the parts of an outdoor kitchen.
Noise and,
Well, I don't make that much noise when I cook, but there'll be smells, there'll be people, and there'll be an impact. There'll be an environmental impact.
I don't know that it's going to be that much different than someone who's grilling steaks in their backyard.
Okay, then he apparently doesn't need 300 square feet to do that, does he? That's the question. The impact, the variance is to make the size, the rear yard setback by 200% of what it's allowed. Okay? So that's more than just grilling a steak. Or even some burgers.
I'm not sure.
Or a pizza.
It seems to be a very trendy thing with these outdoor kitchens right now.
I don't think I don't think there's any problem. He can have an outdoor kitchen. He just can't have one this big.
All right, thank you.
Personally, I don't have a problem with this outdoor kitchen. First of all, these are gas grills. That helps a lot, so it's not charcoal. And I think Carmen has a point that right now there's no reason why somebody can't have a patio for which there's no variance required, and plunk a charcoal grill down 2 feet from the property line. So, in a sense, having this outdoor kitchen enclosed, yes, it's large, but it seems to me that's up to the applicant. When I was out there, I noticed that there's really only one property that's close to this, and that's the neighbor who has told us it's okay. So,
Invite me over.
I really don't see this as changing the character of the neighborhood. So.
He has 75 feet on one side and over 100 on the other, so I gotta agree with you.
How about that 10 feet on the one side?
On the rear, you mean?
Where he's looking for the variance.
Yeah. But that's.
He can do all those things and stay within the code. Doesn't need.
Yeah, and he agreed to, lastly, that he could do that.
Right.
He said that he could possibly make it smaller.
I think that's what I have.
Paul.
Yeah.
I think that's what I have more of a problem with on the entire application is the fact that, it seems to happen, I guess, a little more often than that I'd like to see is people feel it's a lot easier to beg forgiveness than to ask permission.
Exactly. Yeah.
On May 8th, basically a cease and desist order was issued. They said, you can't do this. This is, you need to get permission to move forward.
Exactly.
And we were out there on June 11th, and I think Mr. Graham had said that work had, been finished recently. So, that's the thing that bothers me about this project more than anything else. It's like, well, it's okay, it's done, and that seems to happen. Well, so what are you gonna do? Well, that's why you go and get permits. That's why you have to get permission to move forward with approved work. And that's why the work is checked along the way to make sure that the job that's being done is being done in compliance. So I really think we're focusing on the wrong thing here. I think we're not
Legally, the only thing that's before the board is the variance to allow the deck to continue. And the fact that it may or may not have prior stop work orders or violation for anything is not relevant to the 5 factors that the board should consider, whether it's a change in the neighborhood, the character of the neighborhood, environmental, et cetera. The prior history of the project is not something that's one of the 5 factors, whether it has a violation or not.
I guess I'm learning that, but then why are letters like this even issued if people can just ignore them and then just plow forward?
Well, he plows forward at his risk. And,
there is no
and so, without regard to the history of the project, my position is that it's substantial and that there's going to have an impact on the environment, and I don't think it should be granted. He doesn't need this big of a deck in order to get the thing that he wants to do. He can have a much smaller project without the request for the variance.
Well, no, not exactly, because he needs 30 feet in the back.
He's already.
Not with a smaller kitchen, he doesn't?
To keep even the deck he has, he would still have to have a variance.
Well, that one was built years ago. He said whether he did or didn't get a variance. Once he said he had it, and then he said he didn't have it.
Well, I think that there has to be some way in the code to fine or punish, if you will, whatever, people that don't take the advice of a stop order.
I'm not here to punish him.
Yeah.
This is just about whether he's entitled to the variance.
Okay, I know that, and I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Okay, all right, well, it looks like there's going to be one of these cases where, as Betty says, that's why there are 7 of us. So let me draft a set of findings so that we can make the motion and then vote on it, and we'll see whether it succeeds or not. For the findings, the board finds that the proposal in the application will not have an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties. The board finds that the proposed deck is in the rear of the house, that there is only one nearby property, and the board notes that the owner of the nearby property has submitted a notarized letter stating that he has no objection to the proposal. The board also notes this is a urban neighborhood in which many people have outside decks, and in which outside cooking often takes place. 2, whether the benefit sought by the applicant can be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than the area variance. The board finds that, well, the applicant could have proposed different sizes, that in terms of the goal that he wants to achieve, a large outdoor cooking area, it would be very difficult to do it without a variance of some kind. 3, whether the requested area variance is substantial. It is substantial in the sense that the variance asks for 10 feet where 30 feet is required. When the change is measured against the impact that it will have, the board finds that it is not substantial. 4, whether the proposed variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions. The board finds that the impact on the physical conditions will be minimal. And 4, whether the alleged difficulty is self-created It is self-created in the sense that he's proposing to build an addition to the deck. It's not self-created in the sense that there was limited space behind the house to begin with. Okay, so with those as the conditions, Christine, do you want to make the motion on this?
Sure. I move that the board approve the request for an area variance set forth in item number 1. This decision is based on a review of the application, testimony of the applicant, testimony offered in the public hearing, results of site visits by board members, and the chairman's findings. In approving this variance, the board adopts as findings the determinations set forth. I just said that twice.
Yes.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, so a motion to approve the variance in item number 1 has been made and seconded. I think on this one, we probably should, do we want to have a roll call vote or is just voice vote? Okay.
Voice vote.
Aye.
Betty?
Yes.
Art?
No.
Jim?
Aye.
Paul?
Nay.
Tony?
Nay.
And Corbin?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 4-3 with no recusals. Okay. All right. Item number 2 is, let's see, are the Langs here? No. Okay, so should we move on?
Sure.
Come back to this one? Let's see, Marist. They have-
Mr. Harris is here, and then Oakwood.
Okay. So we're skipping to item number 5. Noel Harris, 15 Stewart Drive. This is a variance to allow an existing deck to be replaced with a new deck with a side yard setback of 10 feet 2 inches where 20 feet is required. And this is a type 2 action. Okay, any comments on this?
No comments.
No comments.
I mean, I think this is pretty straightforward. It's,
The deck's been there a long time, this is just replacing it, so.
yep. Okay. All right, for findings. Number 1, the board finds there will be no undesirable change created in the character of the neighborhood, nor a detriment to nearby properties. The board notes that this is a replacement of an existing deck. In fact, a new deck will enhance the neighborhood, and many of the surrounding properties also have decks. 2, the benefit sought to the applicant could not be achieved in any other way than to replace the deck, which would require a variance. Whether the requested area variance is substantial, it's substantial in the sense that the setback is going to be roughly half of what's required. It's not substantial in the sense that it's going to make any real change to the existing structure or its relationship to its neighbors. 4, the proposed variant will not have any physical or environmental impact on the neighborhood beyond what already exists. The alleged difficulty is self-created in the sense that the applicant wants to replace the existing deck, but this does not preclude the granting of the variance. Okay, so with those as findings, Betty, do you want to do the
Sure,
motion?
I move that the board approve the request for an area variance set forth in item number 5. This decision is based on the review of the application, the testimony of the applicant, testimony offered in the public hearing, and the results of site visits by board members. In approving this variance, the board adopt as findings the determinations as just mentioned, set forth by the chairman.
Okay, there.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion on this? I think this one's pretty straightforward. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? recusals, adopted 7-0. Okay, so now we're to Oakwood Partners, item number 9. Oakwood Commons, okay, this is a variance to allow a wall sign of 82 square feet to be placed on the 4th floor of a proposed building at a height of approximately 54 feet, where wall signs above the 1st floor and more than 100 square feet are prohibited. I note that the planning board has done the environmental review and issued a negative declaration, so we don't have to concern ourselves with that. Okay, questions, comments, opinions? Carmen, you're the sign critic here.
No, I'm just pleased that it's just the one sign. And because so often we have many more signs than we really need. And it's going to be taken care of with the pylon and directional signs as well. So
Okay,
it should be approved.
I know when we were out there, just it would seem to fit with what is existing.
It's practical. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to be able to see it from the highway.
Okay. All right. I would propose that for findings, we use the responses to the 5 questions that are contained in the supplemental statement that's been submitted by the applicant. Pages 1 through 5, it addresses each one of the criteria in some considerable detail. So if that's agreeable, Art, do you want to make the motion?
Sure. I move that the board approve the request for an area variance set forth on item number 9. This decision is based on a review of the application, testimony of the applicant, testimony offered in the public hearing, results of site visits by board members, and the chairman and the board's findings tonight. In approving the variance, the board adopts as findings determinations found in 1 through 5 of the applicant's supplemental statement.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second. Okay, been moved and seconded to approve item number 9. There's no further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, opposed, recusals, approved, 7-0. Okay. Oh, let's see, now that brings us back to item 2.
Ooh. Oh.
Let's
How
see.
does he know?
Good evening. Okay, so I think, I think we've taken care of everyone. So, item number 2, Edgar and Stephanie Lang, 15 North Jackson Road. A variance to allow the construction of a home addition to be located 16 feet from the property line where 20 feet is required, and this is a type 2 action. Okay, this is adding a room to a split-level house on Jackson Road. Any issues, comments, questions?
Based upon the layout of the lot, it's really just a small portion of the addition that comes within the side yard setback. I don't think it's gonna have much of an impact.
Yeah, you're right. Most of it is well within the 20 feet, but that front corner is the problem.
I guess.
Okay. Okay, for findings, I would propose that we use the answers that the applicant has supplied to the 5 questions.
Except for the last one.
except for the last one. Okay.
I have an addition for number 2, so you want to go through them?
Yeah, okay, let's go through them. Okay, 1, no undesirable change will be provided. The addition will blend in with our home and neighbors, and I just note that a number of houses have added additions like this. It's going to blend in with the existing house, so there be no detriment to nearby properties. Whether the benefit can be achieved by the applicant in some other way. This is the only way we can get the increased living space in a cost-effective manner. And Betty,
And actually, the parcel is quite big, but it's a placement of the home that really determines the need for the variance, I think.
okay, yeah, it's a wedged shape parcel. Yeah, okay. Whether the variance is substantial, the variance is not substantial. The front left corner requires a 4-foot variance. Much of the rest of the addition is within required setback. No adverse effect or impact will occur on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood. There will still be enough space between houses, so the addition will not cause a look of congestion. And 5, the alleged difficulty is self-created in the sense that they've chosen to build an addition. The difficulty is unavoidable in the sense of relationship between the location of the house and the shape of the property. Okay, with those as the findings, let me just go ahead. I move that the board approve the request for an area variance set forth in item number 2. Decisions based on the review of the application, testimony of the applicant, testimony offered in a public hearing, results of site visits by board members, period. In approving this variance, the board adopts as findings the determinations just recited as answers to items 1 through 5.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve item number 2. If there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, recusals, approved 7-0. Item 3, okay, Paul is recusing himself on this, so this is Marist College, the Steel Plant Studio, 3399 North Road. Variances to allow the construction of an addition to the existing steel plant studio that will be located 9.5 feet and 18 feet from the 2 property lines where 50 feet is requested. Now, those get, okay, so those get changed to
6 feet and 15 feet.
6 feet
and 15.
and 15 feet. Okay, good. Okay. This has already been, the environmental issues have already been taken care of by the planning board, which issued a negative declaration just a few days ago, so we don't have to worry about that. In terms of this, I note that the applicant, or at least the applicant's engineer, has submitted a attachment B, in which the items have been reviewed, and I would propose that the board adopt this rather detailed response as its findings.
I have a question.
Yeah.
maybe for Lisa, if the variance is increased since it was advertised, that's okay?
Normally, we would raise them, we would renotice and go through the whole bit, but since this has been so extensively before the planning board, and since we made notice when we were at the last meeting that there was that possibility, I don't feel that we need to renotice in this instance, because anybody who's interested in this has been to the planning board, knows what they were granted approval for.
Okay.
I mean, ordinarily I would, particularly if it was anything that might be contentious, but there's been no issue with this, and the planning board's been public.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 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 So, I'm comfortable that the intent here has been satisfied. Anybody that had an issue, there were public hearings. So I think we proceed on this. Okay. Tony, do you want to do the motion on this one?
All righty. I move that the board approve the request for an area variance set forth in item number 3. This decision is based on a review of the application, testimony of the applicant, testimony offered in public hearing, results by site visits of board members. In approving this variance, the board adopts the findings as shown in the applicant's attachment B, items 1 through 5. And that would be it.
So moved.
Yeah.
Second.
Okay, motion to approve item number 3 has been made and seconded. There's no further discussion. Phyllis will be a voting member here. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recusals? Approved 7-0.
I did.
601.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, well, I mean, there were 7 votes, but there was 1 recusal, so it'd be 7-0-1. Okay, item 4, Robert and Nancy Cornell, 17 Scenic Drive. This is a variance to allow an existing deck to be 5.5 feet from the side lot line where 20 feet is required. This is a type 2 action. And so for the findings, the board finds that there will be no undesirable change produced in the character of the neighborhood or any detriment to nearby properties. The board notes that the existing deck has been there for at least 25 years, perhaps longer, and there is no further change is being proposed. The benefit sought by the applicant could not be achieved in any other method without the demolition of the existing deck and its reconstruction at some other location. The requested area variance is actually not really substantial. The board also notes that between the deck and the neighboring property, there's a large stand of mature trees. And for whether the proposed variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions, the board finds it will have no adverse impact. In fact, it will have no impact of much of any kind. Whether the alleged difficulty was self-created, from the applicant's point of view, it is not self-created in the sense that the deck was existing when they bought the structure in 1994. Do you want to do the motion?
Sure. I move that the board approve the request for an area variance set forth in item number 4. This decision is based upon a review of the application, testimony of the applicant, testimony offered in the public hearing, results of site visits by the board members. The board adopts findings and determinations as just listed. So moved.
Second.
Okay. Motion to approve item number 4, made and seconded. If there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recusals? Approved 7-0.
Okay.
Item 6, Ron and Sarah Foster, 177 Fulton Street. This is a special use permit to allow the establishment of an accessory apartment within an existing single-family home. It's a type 2 action, nothing from the county. Okay, any discussion on this?
The applicant indicated that they would add additional mailing to.
They'd add A to their.
Yeah, to put up I guess, house number is just 177A or something like that.
Perhaps like an extra mailbox, just so that emergency services can have some idea that there's a separate.
She said she'd call it 177A or something, the A and B.
Yeah, she said she would do.
Well, she said she'd call it that, but, that's.
Yeah, I mean.
I think there has to be something more official than her calling it 177A.
How does that work? She's notify the 911 people?
I would think
There's
so.
a
Yes.
additional?
Yeah.
Okay.
They kind of tell you where they want it, and they'll name it, they'll give her the number.
Okay. All right, good. All right, okay. I note that the applicant has satisfied all of the special conditions for an accessory apartment special use permit. Municipal water and sewer, the size. The board also notes that the proposed change will not change the footprint of the building in any way. However, since it's a special permit, there are additional criteria that we need to consider. A, that there shall not be any detrimental effect by the establishment of such use on other uses within the district. The board finds that an accessory apartment in this residence will have no effect at all on other uses within this residential area. B, that such use will be in harmony with the orderly development of the district in the location, nature, height of buildings, walls, fences, and parking areas will not discourage the appropriate development and use of adjacent lands. The board finds that the proposed accessory apartment will have no change in the external appearance and thus have no effect on adjacent properties. That all structures, equipment, and materials shall be reasonably accessible for fire and police protection. The board notes that that is true for the existing structure. D, that the use meets the prescribed requirements for the district in which located, including minimum yard requirements as further specified, including maximum height, required off-street parking, and sign regulations. The board notes that the proposed action has no effect on the physical structure and hence meets the requirements in Part D. Let's see. Then there are also a list of specific requirements in Part M, performance standards. Many of these are simply not applicable. Noise, the existing noise ordinance will continue to be in effect. There's no additional discharge of water beyond the municipal sewer. Traffic access is already provided in the existing structure. Parking is already provided in the existing structure. Circulation, this is a residential structure, this really doesn't apply. Landscaping and screening, again, the existing structure provides this. The character and appearance, the board notes that there will be no change in the character or appearance of the structure. Historic and natural resources are not applicable. Sewage treatment and water supply, both of these are provided by the municipality. Size and scale, again, the existing residence meets the requirements of the residential zone. Location and height of buildings, walls, fences, and landscaping, the board notes there will be no change in any of these. Additional safeguards and conditions, the board has identified none. Okay, so that, I believe, covers the findings that we need for a special use permit. So, Carmen, do you have the formula for a special use permit?
All right. I move to approve the request for a special use permit set forth in item number 6. This decision is based on a review of the application, the testimony of the applicant, testimony gathered during the public hearing, the results of site visits by board members, and the staff report.
Second.
And
And that it meets
the chairman has already
The findings is required.
cited the findings, okay?
Yeah, okay.
I still second it.
Okay, okay. All right, motion to approve the establishment of an accessory apartment at 177 Fulton Street's been made and seconded. There are no further comments. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, recusals, approved 7-0. Okay, item 7, Greystone Programs Incorporated, 36 Violet Avenue. This is a variance to allow the conversion of an existing office building into 6 residential units, where 7,260 square feet is required per dwelling unit. The applicant has 20,702 square feet and is proposing 3,450 square feet per dwelling unit. Okay, this is an unlisted action, but the applicant has submitted an environmental assessment short form. So I move that the ZBA declare itself lead agency for purposes of environmental review of item number 7.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, recusals. I further move that based on the information submitted on the EAF short form, that the ZBA finds that the proposed action in item number 7 will have no significant impact on the environment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, recusals. Okay, discussion, item number 7, creating 6 apartments in an office building.
I think you made it pretty clear what it's going to be used for. And they're not going to need a whole lot of space. Single people, semi-handicapped.
Yeah. There's no.
They're not going to be driving.
Right.
Say.
I think the only question that we really had was, where are all those cars from? And it seems like, I mean, they have a maintenance crew that shows up, and then they have their own trucks that have got the tools and the equipment. So I think what we were seeing were the cars from the maintenance crew and the I think there are a few clerical workers in the other building. But in any case,
We were there on Sunday and probably half the spots were occupied.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. But given the intended use, I don't see that parking is going to be a.
Right, so part of the conditions, I know you mentioned about keeping it within under Greystone, but does it make perhaps more sense to have it just so it's for that use for independent living? Is that a term we can use?
Yeah, I don't know how would we.
For ease of enforcement, I actually prefer having it confined to Greystone just because we know what that program is and the definition of independent living may change over time. And I think also independent living doesn't necessarily exclude families where you might have more than one person in a single single-family resin. And it also may, I honestly don't know. But I think, the characteristics here of the fact that the residents would probably be only one per apartment and probably won't drive, I think go a long way. And also will have the availability of the Greystone public, if they're doing picnics or events or whatever, the Greystone program for their social, that they would need less outside space. I think that goes away if Greystone changes, even if some other independent living organization came in, I think the board would want the ability to look at it.
Are there really apartments out there that are 7,260 square feet?
No, it's just
No.
a lot. It's the.
It's the ability, it's the outdoor space idea, that you don't want to fill up the entire space with concrete and just have the people, so it encompasses the whole space with including parking, including outdoor recreation, including anything on the lot. You take the whole lot and then you divide it up by the number of residents.
Yeah,
Okay, so I totally read that wrong.
yeah, and what the, and.
I'm thinking to
yeah,
myself, where are
Beg your pardon, huh?
they?
Yeah.
You want one of them?
Yeah,
No.
but I know in terms of,
Not even 3,400 square feet. So
yeah,
it's
and
just the-
I know in terms of recreation that they have vans and take people to different areas. I know they frequently come up to Peach Hill, just do a little walking and hiking and.
I think it's a great use of a building that's gonna sit empty otherwise.
Yep. Yep. Okay,
It's already cut into little pieces, by the way. It's had little offices inside there, and I saw a reception desk upstairs and a reception desk downstairs, so it's already broken out.
yeah. Okay, for the findings, the board finds that there will be no undesirable change produced in the character of the neighborhood, nor a detriment to nearby properties. The board notes that the proposed change will make only very small changes to the exterior of the existing building. And we note that this is located in essentially a industrial area. 2, whether the benefit sought by the applicant could be achieved by some other method. The board finds that given the existing structure, that there is no way that this could be reused for the benefit of Greystone clients without some kind of a variance. 3, whether the requested area variance is substantial. It's substantial in a kind of a mathematical sense. It is not substantial in the sense of what the needs for the apartments is concerned. That there are alternatives to having recreation space. 4, whether the proposed variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions. The board notes that this is a reuse of an existing structure, and so will have minimal impact on the nearby environment. And whether the difficulty was self-created, it's self-created in the sense that they're converting the building from one use to another. It's not self-created in the sense that the building is existing and they're trying to make the best use of it. Okay, with those as findings, Christine, do you want to do the motion?
Sure. I move that the board approve the request for an area variance set forth in item number 7. This decision is based on a review of the application, testimony of the applicant, testimony offered in the public hearing, results of site visits by board members. In approving this variance, the board adopts the determination set forth by the chairman, and with the condition that this applies to Greystone programs only. Right.
I would say ownership by Greystone and use by Greystone clients, so that it doesn't at some point get rented out, not that it would, but for any.
Okay. Okay, everybody okay with that? Mm-hmm. Good. Okay. All right. Okay, so was there a second to this? Second. Okay, so the motion to approve item number 7 has been made and seconded, subject to a condition. There are no further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recusals? Approved 7-0. And item number 8, Neville McDonald, 12 Pearl Bush Lane, a variance to allow an addition to the garage with a side yard setback of 12 feet 4 inches where 20 feet is required. It's a type 2 action. Any comment, discussion?
Well, the applicant answered 1 through 5 quite nicely.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. I guess, all right, notes that it's a corner lot and that the addition will be no closer than the existing house is from the back lot line. I was kind of surprised out there that whole neighborhood, all the lots seem small.
Yeah.
Kind of.
A lot of fence.
A lot of fence, yeah. Okay, all right, Betty, you want to?
Okay, I move that, what number is this? I move that the board approve the request for an area variance set forth in item number 8. This decision is based upon a review of the application, the testimony of the applicant, the testimony offered in public hearing, and the results of site visits by board members. In approving this variance, the board adopt as findings items number 1 through 5 of the application.
Second.
Okay. All right, motion to approve item number 8 has been made and seconded. There's no further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recusals? Approved 7-0. The last remaining item on the agenda is a request from the planning board to serve as lead agency on something called Crown Castle Verizon Communications Tower, 244 Boardman Road. The planning board gave me a copy of that application. It's sizable. In a nutshell, what it is, the Verizon wants to replace an existing 80-foot tall communications tower with a tower that's 105 feet. And it's located north of the Poughkeepsie Day School. There's a set of woods that's in between Boardman Road and the one that goes past.
Jack's Way.
Cedar, isn't it?
It goes past St. Martin's.
St. Martin's is Cedar Valley.
Cedar Valley, okay. So it's a wooded area, and there's an existing tower. They're going to make it a little taller. I don't think it's got anything to do with zoning issues, so I'm perfectly happy to let the planning board do this one. Okay, so I move that the ZBA approve the request of the planning board to serve as lead agency for the Crown Castle Verizon Communications Tower application. Okay, no further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that brings us to the agenda, and if I'm not mistaken, we didn't put anything off till next week, so we have done well, or next month. rather.
Nothing.
Okay,
I'm
all right.
not here for next month's meeting, so we'll see how many applications come in. Decide whether you want to have Craig or Kieran come sit here, or if they're vanilla applications and you don't need somebody, or if Neil wants to do it, but I just wanted to let everybody know ahead of time.
Okay, but you're not going to be here. Okay, all right. Okay, The only,
Move it to the next, what do we need to do if we wanted to? Because you're not going to be here either. We'll have a quorum, though, everybody else going to be.
we assume so. We'll have
The
to,
14th.
August what?
August
Have to wait.
14th.
yeah,
Senior four schools won't be here.
I'm not.
Oh, I
okay.
need to ask. She should have a mic.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4.
I can't.
Okay.
But all she has to
I
do
don't know if we'll ever see.
How does one know?
Okay, does it look like
Well,
we're,
let's why don't we close then?
okay. Okay, so is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned.